Hello and welcome back to the Couch Potato Podcast. My name is Russ. On today's episode, I am joined by fellow Couch Potato Jason. Him and I are going to talk about the week that was in sports, talking a little Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban battle royale. We got a little bit of baseball, a little bit of wrestling, some football talk coming at you. So, after the guitar riff, we present to you the Couch Potato Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Couch Potato Podcast. My name is Russ, and usually I am joined by my good friend and colleague, Lucas, but Lucas will not be joining us this evening. Him and his girlfriend welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world about 6 o'clock tonight. So congratulations, Lucas and Tina, on the new baby girl. Lucas, I would imagine, will be off for a few weeks, but maybe I can coax him into an episode here or there. Or hell, we'll just have the baby on too. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Just rambling on. But don't worry. I have a co-host. We kind of run by the Freebird rule. If you guys are familiar with wrestling, the Fabulous Freebirds, they basically can interchange. When they were tag team champions, it was still the same. So remember the Freebirds. Back with us once again after a couple weeks off, Jason Cheshire.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Just don't let me be the Michael Hayes of the group.
Yeah. Well, we'll let Lucas be Michael P.S. Hayes.
That works.
All right. Doing this episode, we're gonna kind of go around the horn. ESPN, please don't sue us. I'm not stealing your trademark property. It's the only thing I can come up with at the time. We're going to basically give a recap on the weekend sports. We're recording this on a Monday night at 9:30. And before I get into the program, Jason, I just got one thing to say, man. Fuck Monday.
Yeah. Oh, big fuck Monday.
Yeah. I don't know if it seemed to be for everybody, but people near and dear to my heart seem like they had a very shitty Monday work day. So, yeah, just fuck Monday, man.
100% back that.
Yeah, I think it should be officially on calendars as it goes Sunday, fuck Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hell yeah, it's Friday.
I think we should just add Monday as an extra, come down from the weekend, and then we can start fresh on Tuesday.
Right. Just do half days Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, my Monday, you and I were discussing briefly. Yeah, it sucked dick.
Yeah, mine same boat here.
Yeah. So we're going to christen this. We're going to get this movement started. Fuck Monday.
Fuck Monday.
No offense to you that have Mondays off. Must be nice. Sometimes it almost makes me wonder if it's worth having Saturday and Sunday off.
Yeah, no kidding.
But getting back to the episode, before Thursday, I'm trying to think if these were Wednesday or Thursday, but I was kind of scrambling on what we were going to talk about this week because it's been kind of a slow sports week. I mean, we've got the NBA playoffs going on. We've got the NHL playoffs going on. PGA Championship wrapped up this weekend, which actually outside of seeing Tiger struggle through the third round and withdrawing, and then even the final round kind of wasn't that great till the final 6 or 7 holes when Justin Thomas started making his charge.
Yeah.
But even that was kind of a boring tournament. But Nick Saban, the god of college football, he thought, you know what, those couch potato guys up there in Ohio, I'm going to give them something to talk about. So at a booster Q&A, some kind of a boosters event, essentially he took shots at the NIL system, which I will wholeheartedly agree needs to be revamped, but I think they're pretty much past the point now of that happening.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's gotten out of hand.
It's gotten out of hand fast, too.
Yeah, and there needs to be some kind of cap on it. I just can't believe that Alabama doesn't have the money to compete with. And I mean, I think everyone's kind of had the feeling that something was going on there before all this started.
Hey, let's be honest. Realistically, this shit's been going on for years.
Yeah.
It's a big thing down. I think it's probably really bad in the South, but I'm pretty sure most college football teams have been paying players for years. Just now it's out in the open, and you can, oh, hey, I didn't pay him to be part of my, pay him to sign autographs at my car dealership, my fake car dealership that doesn't have any cars.
Well, I mean, you have these 18-year-old kids driving $70,000 vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, I drove a 1998 Chevy Cavalier for 15 years, and you get an 18-year-old kid a $70,000 vehicle, fully loaded vehicle.
Dude, I was driving a little shitbox 96 Toyota Corolla that once it got past 55 miles an hour, I didn't know if it was going to fall apart on the highway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of regret not playing college football. But at this booster program, apparently Nick Saban took a shot at Deion Sanders, Jackson State. Yeah, the kid they got, they insinuated that they basically used the NIL money to get him, and he took a big shot at old Jimbo Fisher down at Texas A&M, basically saying he paid for his number one recruiting class. Now, I don't know if this is Nick Saban trying to be the righteous savior of college football, like basically saying that they need to clean it up, or if he's just pissy that he wasn't able to get some of these guys.
Oh, yeah. I think that's it, 100%.
But,
I mean,
go ahead.
Where is A&M ranked at so far? And, I mean, I was looking at the rankings, and, like, Alabama's, like, 25, 26?
Well, like
something like that
on the preseason. I think Alabama's going to be preseason. You talking about recruiting or in the
recruiting? Yeah, recruiting.
I thought they had the number
class.
2 class. I don't know. It varies depending on like who you talk to. Because like one analyst will have like this class will be number 1, then like somebody else will have like, oh well, I thought it was like the 13th best class.
Yeah, I don't know which class it was. They had up. It was A&M was really high and Alabama was listed at like 25 or 26. I can't remember which, because every site's different. And I'm not going to spend, 2 hours delving through the 900 different ranking. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to see, Texas A&M as the ones that he's going to. I mean, is it because of Jimbo Fisher? I mean, I don't think there's any love lost between those two.
No, apparently there's definitely not now. But yeah, he basically Saban insinuated that Texas A&M used this NIL money to basically buy their recruiting class, and Jimbo was pretty pissed off to the point where he called his own press conference the next day, and he did the thing where he kind of had a little bit of the Mike Gundy, I'm a man, I'm 40, where he's talking about like it's an insult to go after these kids.
Yeah.
But then my personal favorite comment, I'm going to go ahead and cue it up here now. But this raised a few eyebrows with me, and once I get done playing the clip, I've got a question. Maybe you can help me answer. But this comment kind of stuck out to me. This is what Jimbo Fisher, part of his comments at his press conference the next day about Nick Saban. So I'm going to hit play.
Say these things to defend the people of this organization, the kids, 17-year-old kids, and their families.
I'm 40.
It's amazing. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past, or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable. It really.
Whoa.
It was great.
My question is, I could be wrong, but didn't Jimbo Fisher coached with Nick Saban at LSU.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he was the offensive coordinator. If I was a reporter, hey, any of you papers want to hire me, I would at least ask this question. So feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be happy to interview with you. But why didn't somebody ask him, why don't you tell us some of the shit they did?
Exactly. I mean, we'll go right to the horses now.
Right.
You know, you coached with him. Tell us what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he knows something, and somebody asked the damn question. But
Yeah, I don't understand why nobody asked that.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. But I mean, obviously he knows something, and he's willing to throw him under the bus. Ask the question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know the SEC commissioner name is drawing a blank at the moment. He's pretty much put a gag order against anybody speaking out on this. Jimbo's supposed to shut up. Nick Saban's going to shut up. Lane Kiffin, who also coached with Nick Saban at one point, I was listening to Dan Patrick's show this morning, and Lane Kiffin was supposed to be on there, but he was not able to appear because the SEC commissioner doesn't want him. And Lane Kiffin, let's be real, people follow college football. Lane Kiffin's a shit stirrer. He's the kid that starts the fight in the park at the playground, and then gets two people going, and then just kind of steps away, and then just enjoys the majesty of his work.
Oh yeah, was it? Didn't you pick a fight with Urban Meyer when he was at Tennessee?
Yeah, picked a fight with Urban Meyer. He talks shit all the time. I'm not a big Lane Kiffin guy, but I really wanted to hear what he had to say about it on Monday. But
yeah, would have been good radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. What are you thinking about this? I know they've got a game coming up. I think it's the first or second week in October.
Yeah, and didn't A&M beat Bama last year?
They did. They upset them with, I think, their third string quarterback.
Oh yeah, this just makes things even better for that game.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were discussing, I mean, something's got to be done about this. Mm-hmm. And I mean, some of these schools that have the deep pocket boosters, or where they're coming up with this money to get players to sign. I mean, even, with Ohio State, when they got Quinn Ewers, I mean, that kid made a killing for a year and then transferred back to Texas. But he got his money. I mean, something's got to be done.
Well, the kid from Pittsburgh, the wide receiver, just transferred over to USC.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get more money from USC than he is Pitt.
I mean, it's going to get to the point. I mean, even now, it's hard for the smaller schools to compete. Yeah, Cincinnati got into the playoff this year, but you're not going to see those teams in the playoffs anymore. It's going to be the big name schools every single year, and everybody else is just playing for some no name playoff bowl game, or some playoff or a bowl game. And I mean,
the Little Caesars pizza bowl.
Yeah, and the kids, I mean, a lot of the kids skip those games. So I mean, what's even the point?
What I'm afraid is going to happen is you're going to see the big pocketed schools like your Alabamas, your Texas A&Ms, Oklahoma, and Texas just left the Big 12 to go to the SEC. What I'm afraid is going to happen is you're going to see a mega conference of all these schools. It's just going to splinter off into their own thing, and it's just going to be them teams battling it out for the national title every year. And I think whoever's left on the outside is going to be some kind of – it's almost going to be like a subdivision of Division I college football with all these leftover teams. They're going to have to scramble to find, put together conferences so they can play each other, which is going to be a geographical nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to see the Boston College wins a national title. It's just not going to happen. I mean, they're not going to be able to compete with, the Ohio States, the
all
Bamas.
Yeah, all those Big 12 or the SEC teams. There's no way.
No.
I mean, so I mean, it's theoretically, I think it's just going to be the SEC with Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC, and Clemson. Maybe Miami.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've even seen kind of Clemson take a hit.
Oh, by the way, fuck Dabo Sweeney. I don't like that dude.
Yeah, I don't either. But I think he doesn't know if he really uses the NIL to his advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just something that he doesn't agree with. But
or maybe he just hasn't mastered it yet. Like, God damn it, I'm used to like giving these kids fucking the Tennessee way, where you give them a McDonald's bag full of cash.
Yeah. Grab and go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just afraid of what's going to happen to college football. And I'm going to ask you this: do you think that they're going to be able to curtail this? Because I honestly think they're past the point of it now.
Yeah, it's gone too far now. And I don't know exactly what happened with Jackson State and why he brought up Deion Sanders and saying, you know, this kid was given $1 million. I mean, I don't know any 17, 18-year-old kid that if Deion Sanders comes knocking on your door and says, hey, I got $1 million for you if you come play with me, you're not going to turn that down.
Oh,
I mean, that's Deion Sanders.
Honestly, if Deion Sanders come knocking at my door wanting my son to play football, he wouldn't even take $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the greatest cornerback of all time, and he's knocking on your door. Hey, I got $1 million. Well, and I mean, we don't know that's what happened. I mean, Deion says it didn't, but I mean, it's Jackson State. I don't know. I mean, did the kid just want to go there because Deion's the coach? I mean, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was offered some large amount of money. I have a better understanding of it, too.
Well, it's like, are you? Realistically, I think what's going to eventually happen is it's almost going to be like, if they're going to stop it, it's like you almost have to sign these kids to contracts now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, like, okay, you're going to, like, the kid will take Addison from Pitt. You know, like, okay, you committed to Pitt for 4 years. The only opt out you have is to go to the NFL. You can't. You're getting paid this much. Then it's like almost like breaching a contract. I mean, of course, they'll probably find ways like, well, I'm just going to sit out then.
Yeah, and you know, another thing that kind of sucks about this, what about the kids that don't get that kind of money? I mean, you have your, you know, let's just
the third string tight end from Ohio State getting paid like $500.
Yeah, and the number one tight end, he's getting $750,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but
no, Ohio State, virtue of integrity.
Yeah,
the only school that doesn't buy players. Yeah. That could be the homer in this, but
yeah, a bit. But I mean, you're an 18-year-old kid, and there's a guy who is on your team, and he's making $500,000, and you're struggling to eat dinner every night. Oh, I mean, granted, the college football, they take care of their players and make sure they eat everything, but I don't know. It's just something's got to be done about it.
Right. You know what? Put us in a room with the heads of the NCAA. We'll come up with a game plan. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things of like, yeah, it's just I'm really scared that college football is just going to lose what makes it so great because of this now. It's. I mean, I think it's going to happen to basketball at some point too.
Oh yeah.
Which I think it's already starting to an extent, but not to the point of college football. But
what these kids are playing college football. I mean, are we creating monsters? What if these kids get this money and then just decide, I don't want to play no more.
Mm-hmm.
I got my money, and then they're off doing something else, or when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you don't make the best decisions. You've got $750,000. You're bored. What are you going to do?
Right, yeah, they're cruising down a slippery slope with that.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap this, put a little bow on this topic, I got one question that after we start talking about Dion, one question popped in my head. Like, does this affect the Aflac commercials at all?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're not comfortable.
A little heat on the set. All right, what do you think the odds of who goes after Saban first? Is it Dion or is it Jimbo Fisher? I'm putting my money on Jimbo.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. 100%.
The post game handshake, he just walks up there, straight stoles on him.
He gives him a LeGarrette blood.
Jacks him right in the fucking jaw.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that game. I'm going to circle that on the calendar now. That's going to be probably outside of Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, Michigan, obviously. My most anticipated game of the college football season.
That better be in prime time too.
Oh, I'm sure it probably will, because I think CBS still has the. They still got the SEC, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, like, at least the
so.
big games. I know ESPN had the network.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they'll more than likely be the 7 or 8 o'clock CBS game.
Yep. Got to make it happen, CBS, especially now.
Yeah.
Or even better, at the end of it, partner with like AEW or WWE, set up a steel cage, Jimbo in one corner, Nick Saban in the other, a weapons-filled cage match.
Yeah, I'd live with that.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'd buy it on pay-per-view. All right, well, we'll move on from that, but yeah, I just thought that, like, it's like, fuck, I was really struggling, and then this gift just fell in our lap.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, I did notice that ESPN dropped their first NFL power rankings of the season. I thought this was a very interesting list. Real quick, you can find the full list on ESPN.com. Just look for the NFL FPI rankings. But they had the Buffalo Bills at 1, the Packers at 2, the Rams at 3, Chiefs 4, Buccaneers 5, Cowboys 6, the Chargers 7, the Colts 8, Arizona 9, and then the Browns at number 10. Give a quick. I think Buffalo should be number 1. I think they, on paper, look to be the favorites in the AFC.
Oh yeah, I don't have any problem at all with that. I probably would have went that route too.
Green Bay, I don't think they're the number 2 team in the NFL, but belongs on the list for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
considering especially how weak the NFC is this year.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Devontae Adams. I think that's going to be, a significant hit. And I don't think
actually real quick. I got to try out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I sold him on the fact that, I'm not fast, probably not the greatest route runner, but I'm a goddamn locker room presence.
Hey, that's what we need.
So, come on down, son. We'll embarrass you for an afternoon and then send you on your way.
All right. No, I mean, looking at it, you're a Cowboys fan.
Cowboys are not 6.
Okay.
Nope.
Right.
I cannot rank them as the 6th best team in the NFL off of that. For one, I would probably put the Rams at 2. I mean, they're the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
And I would probably move Tampa. Well, Tampa Bay I think is okay where they're at. Maybe flop them with Green Bay. I think just because, Tom Brady's coming back, I think Well, we discussed it in a earlier episode. I think Tampa Bay is going to be one of the favorites in the NFC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were only a play away from.
Yeah, if the Rams didn't get Matt Gay into field goal position, they would have beaten the Rams, and that could have been a completely different Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think the Cowboys are a 10. I don't think the Colts belong in the top 10 either. I like the Colts, but they're not a top 10 team. And I could make a case for Arizona not being in the top 10, and definitely the Cleveland Browns do not belong in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. Really wish Lucas could have been here to try to justify that number 10 ranking. But yeah, we don't even know what's going to happen with the quarterback. So, and I mean, Baker's still out there, possibly being traded. Who's going to play quarterback if Watson's suspended?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the most egregious omission from this list is the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
I'm not a Bengals fan. You're a Steelers fan, so I definitely know you don't like them. But the Bengals didn't do anything to regress. They improved arguably the biggest weakness on their team, the offensive line. You got Jamar Chase entering year 2. Burrow looking like an absolute stud there towards the end of the regular season into the playoffs. But they are 16th on this list.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the teams that are ranked ahead of them, the New England Patriots, the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think are improved, but I don't think they're the Bengals good. Minnesota. And then the Ravens and the Broncos.
I mean, you could probably make a case for Baltimore just because they had a lot of injuries last year.
And they had a really good draft, though, too.
Yeah, they had an excellent draft.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, maybe even the same with Denver. I mean, I know they upgraded a quarterback with Russell Wilson. But I'm telling you, that since...
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson, when he came back from the injury, didn't look like Russell Wilson of old.
Yeah. That, and I mean, that Cincinnati offense is, in my opinion, it's 1A, 1B, 1C with Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're pretty much can go toe-to-toe with each other on offense. And the Bengals, the one thing they didn't have, they went out and got, and the offensive line. So I can't justify them being 16 on that list.
No, I mean, I read a story that essentially that last drive in the Super Bowl, Burrow had a wide open Jamar Chase, but he didn't have enough time to get the ball to him.
Yeah.
Imagine if they would have had someone decent blocking for him instead of Joe Smith from the Sunoco.
Well, wasn't it the one guy from Ohio State that was always I can't remember his name. It's just thrown me.
The only
the
only player that I know of the Bengals had on the offensive line was Billy Price.
He got released.
Yeah,
but there was it was a tackle. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, he was a problem at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Is not coming up here.
But
yeah, I can't think of his name. But yeah, he was a problem at Ohio State, and it carried over to the NFL. He just got killed on that last play.
Well, you know what? Since we're here, I figured that we should correct ESPN's mistake and try to craft our own top 10. I think you and I agree Buffalo's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, I would say you have to go with the champs.
Yeah, I go the Rams. Yep.
Number 3, I'd probably take Kansas City.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
Number 4, I would say it's pretty much a toss-up between Tampa Bay. I'd say Tampa Bay because they got Tom Brady coming back.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same team. So, and then they got Tom coming back. So, yeah, that'll work.
Number 5, I would go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep, that's perfect spot for them right there.
Yeah. I would say Packers 6.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I can live with that one.
The Chargers.
Yeah,
that's a scary team. I may be ranking them a little too low. We'll revisit this come playoff time, but I think I'll go San Diego. I still call them the Chargers. San Diego. Number 8. I don't know. I kind of like Denver. Good young defense.
I think I'd go Baltimore there.
I'll give you Baltimore because, like they're a completely different team if they haven't been hit by the injury bug. Plus, I think we agreed on our NFL draft recap, which you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. Cheap plug. That the Baltimore Ravens had the best draft in the NFL this year.
Yeah. Look, I hate to give the Ravens any kind of love, but they did have a good draft.
Now, you being a Steelers fan, I've heard differing opinions. Are the Ravens your most hated rival, or is it the Browns?
It's the Ravens for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns were.
Is it because you feel sorry for them?
See, I'll say that, like, up until 2 years ago, Browns just were never any good. I mean, it was just another game on the schedule. Then you had the whole helmet Mason Rudolph incident. Like, yeah, I mean, it's neck and neck between the two, but I hate the Ravens more than anything.
I don't like them either. I think it's the fact that they yanked the Browns from Cleveland originally. I just have a problem with that. Like, if they would have done that to, I don't know, the fucking Arizona Cardinals, if they would have jumped ship and moved from Arizona to Baltimore, which I don't think would have happened. I wouldn't have left Arizona myself, but it just, I don't know. It probably wouldn't have stung as bad as you take the Browns out of Cleveland.
Yeah. Probably one of the name franchises.
Yeah, the original NFL.
Yeah,
like they're the cornerstone of the old NFL, and just I don't know. That just soured me. Art Modell's a old bastard. Sorry, you Ravens fans out there, but so we're at what, number 8 or 9?
8, and then
I think we are at 9 because I think we had San Diego the Chargers at 7. I'll give you Baltimore 8.
Then I'd probably go Denver.
Denver 9, yeah, and then because I think Denver is a top 10 team.
Yeah.
I don't know. The number 10 is tough. I would probably go the Colts at 10. They don't have the klutz Carson Wentz at quarterback. They got a legitimate, although on probably the decline of his career, still an improvement over Carson Wentz. They got Matt Ryan. I think the only thing really that they're missing is, outside of Michael Pittman, they're really lacking in the receiver department.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of feel for the Colts. I mean, since Andrew Luck left, they've just kind of gotten everybody else's trash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and I mean, Matt Ryan's still a serviceable quarterback, but he's not the I'm up 28-3 on the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're on the decline of that. Although in his defense too, he had a worse wide receiver core in Atlanta last year than he does with Indy this year.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, Calvin Ridley, he took his mental health sabbatical, then he gets suspended, and it's basically Kyle Pitts and the get along gang of wide receiver.
Do they still have what's his my fantasy superstar from last year, Cordarrelle Patterson?
Yeah, they do. They re-signed him. God damn, dude! I watched that. I was like, man, that motherfucker got him.
Yeah, that.
I'm sure he was probably the apple of many trade offers that you probably got.
Oh,
I'll give you Gus Edwards for Cordell Patterson. Gus Edwards is hurt. He's not playing this year. But hey.
You could have him for next year.
And we don't even
in the keeper league.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Which, by the way, I think I got a good idea. We should do, I don't know, still thinking maybe we'll do the fantasy draft as a podcast episode, but I think you and I would be the only two talking during it.
Probably. Everybody else be knee deep in stats.
Yeah, or just not talking. I'm not talking on that. So we good with the Colts at 10?
Yeah, I can live with the Colts at 10.
All right, ESPN, there you go. We fixed your problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that list was it's still pretty early to start ranking teams, but I thought it was interesting, gives us something to talk about NFL-wise before the season.
Yeah.
Those are my top two stories of the week. What did you have? What did you want to shoot the shit about today?
I was really hoping that Lucas could be here so he could offer his take as a Browns fan on this. But what's going on with Deshaun Watson? I mean, is he going to get suspended? The Browns paid $250 million guaranteed to a quarterback that hasn't taken a snap since January of 2021, and possible he may not take a snap until 2023.
Hey, he's got no problem spending that money, though. He's got the whole offense down there in the Bahamas right now.
Yeah. Didn't they structure his contract that if he ends up getting suspended this year, he only loses out on $1 million?
I think so, yeah.
And of all the backhanded things in the world to do, just you allow this guy to come in, get $250 million guaranteed. You don't even know if he's going to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was a very, very that's a gamble, betting like your whole season on him, and now you've alienated a serviceable quarterback in Baker Mayfield. So I've heard 6 games. Mike Florio was on Dan Patrick, I think it was last week, and he even brought up the scenario he could get suspended twice. Like he could get suspended for like 4 to 6 games, and then as more stuff comes to light, they could suspend him again.
Oh, wow. See, I just don't know what the thinking was going into that. The guy's facing 22 felony charges. I don't know. I just know there's 22 charges. All this stuff's still coming out. He's getting ready to go to trial on this stuff, and you're going to give him $250 million?
Mm-hmm.
And again, hasn't played since January 2021. And football's not one of those sports that you take a year or two off and it's like, oh, I can come back and be the exact same player that I was.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, like, I think the contract, is what got the Browns Deshaun Watson. Because I'm sure that they were negotiating contracts during this whole, like, hey, we're going to give you this. Come meet the team. We're doing this and that. And I think that, I think they said, hey, we'll guarantee every cent of your contract. Because I thought, like, I know when it came down to it, the Browns got knocked out, and then like the next day is like, nope, Browns are getting him now.
Yeah. Oh, $250 million guaranteed. I don't play with Cleveland.
Right.
But the bad part about it is Baker Mayfield had a really good 2020 when took the Browns to the playoffs.
Well,
they won a.
It depends on if you ask Lucas. Baker Mayfield's a bum, but that's also a Browns fan speaking too.
Yeah, true. But also played a lot of last year hurt, and he probably shouldn't have been playing.
No, I've told him I blame that all on Stefanski. You could have sat him because realistically, the Browns after you lost Odell, basically Odell had checked out at that point. You really weren't playing for anything. It's almost like I think there was some kind of rift between the two of them, and he just wanted to show him up. Like, okay, I'm gonna cost you a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. But didn't the report that Clowney only re-signed with the Browns because Baker was no longer the quarterback?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I know that there was Odell wanted to come back too because they got Deshaun Watson.
Wow. See,
it makes you wonder if that didn't affect Baker's, trade market too. As you're hearing all these reports, like guys are wanting to come back and play now that he's not going to be with the team.
Yeah, wow. That's it's got to be an ego blow to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
It's almost like the Browns are almost well, at least I thought this before they did the Clowney deal. It's almost like they're taking this year as a mulligan.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going to prepare to be without him for a year. We'll do our best with Jacoby Brissett. And then next year, we'll have him.
But 2 years without playing, if he doesn't play this year, 2 years without, it'd be 2.5 years out playing it down.
Mm-hmm.
And you expect him to be the same guy he was in Houston.
Right.
I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Right.
Browns fans will turn on you real quick.
Yeah, I was surprised by the amount of, just from what I read on social media, message board, shit like that, like how they're greeting him with open arms. I do.
Well, I've kind of seen both. Like a lot of the Browns fans. I don't get on Facebook like I used to, but
you're not missing anything.
Yeah, we're really upset that they were getting rid of Mayfield, bringing in this guy that has. And trust me, as being a Steelers fan, I heard all kinds of shit about Ben Roethlisberger from Browns fans for years. And now it's like they have to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, your boy done a lot more than what Ben did. And I'm not saying Ben's not a good person, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But, y'all need to sit this one out. Just take it.
Yeah, just have a seat in the corner, keep your mouth shut, let this shake out. I do have a friend that actually gave up. I don't know if he was I haven't talked to him recently, but I think he's given up his Colts fandom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think he is, last I heard, I think he's hopping on the old Colts bandwagon.
Oh, you give up the Browns for the Colts?
Yeah. Jim Irsay, hop on, brother. We got plenty of room in the back.
He just seems like a cool owner to play for. At least from what Pat McAfee will say.
Oh, yeah. I just read he bought one of Kurt Cobain's guitars for like $4 million.
What?
Yeah. It was supposed to go, that estimated it was going to go for like $1 million, and it ends up going for like $4 million.
Man, he just had money laying around like that.
Right. That's why Sirius or iHeartRadio, Spotify, if you're looking for content, man, hit us up, dude. I want to be able to buy I want to buy shit like that. I want to buy Hetfield's guitar he played in Moscow.
There you go. It's probably going to go for more than $4 million.
Yeah, or, well, I don't know. Hetfield's probably not as iconic as Kurt Cobain. So, shit. All I want is enough money to buy a replica set, buy a warehouse, and just build a replica set of the Price is Right studio, and invite my friends come over, play some Plinko, play the fucking game where the yodelers are going up the hill, do a little showcase showdown stuff. Yeah, let you guys play for gift cards and stuff like that. I'm not dishing out trips. I ain't got that. Well, Spotify's paying for it. I don't care. Yeah, and I've always wanted to go into a room with that just peacocking like Roddy Piper did at WrestleMania 1 with the bagpipers playing, just the cock of the walk. Have enough money to do that. Just play myself into a room. I'd actually do it to quit my job. I'd hire a bunch of bagpipers. I'd try to find that Panther shirt they had on. That shirt was super fucking cool. And just strut my ass in there and give them a notice like, hey, I'm done. I won the lottery. These bagpipers are proof that I won the lottery. Have a nice life. I'm out.
Yeah. I think you can get that Panther shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees.
I'm actually got a big Memorial Day sale coming up, so I think I'm going to hit it up. Speaking of wrestling, big story came out of the WWE last week. Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Monday Night Raw.
You know, as someone who hasn't been a fan of the WWE booking for quite a while now, good for them. But I don't know exactly. There's so many different stories. Like, what actually happened?
The one that I seem to hear is they were supposed to be part of a six-pack challenge. Naomi was supposed to pin Sasha, and that was going to cause Naomi to challenge Bianca at Hell in a Cell, and then Sasha was going to challenge Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
But I think what they do that kind of shits on the women's tag team titles, which I know that was like a big thing for Sasha and Bayley. They really wanted like to establish that as like a legitimate championship, and they're a joke. I mean,
oh yeah, it's never been taken seriously since they've introduced them.
Yeah, with the exception of when Sasha and Bayley had them.
Yeah.
Then they had the Iconics beat them at WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania for them, and I was like, okay, yeah these are going to be just props.
Yeah, that's pretty much all. I mean, the Iconics were the only legit team. And I mean, I really don't understand why you would bring in women's tag team titles when you're throwing together two women. And I mean, it seems to change all the time. I mean, I've heard that Sasha was originally supposed to wrestle Charlotte at WrestleMania, but Ronda came back. So she took her place.
Yeah, that's paying dividends right now too.
Yeah. Then to kind of appease her, they put her in a tag team with Naomi and let them win the tag titles. Now, I mean, the team has been, I mean, it's been legit, but it's just like there's tag team wrestling is just not what it was. I mean, even in the men, there's just not many teams. It's just makeshift teams. And, you know, you would always have that Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, like, kind of thrown together. They'd win the titles. And
well, they did have that with RK Bro. That duo turned out to be really good.
Yeah, I mean, there is some stuff that I do enjoy, and that being one of them. I mean, that's really worked out well. But they just can't do it in the women. There's just not enough. I don't want to say talent, because there is the talent to do it, but there's not enough quantity.
Right.
I guess I'm saying, and just moving the titles from makeshift team to makeshift team, it just doesn't. It's not tag team wrestling.
Right. I was curious by the press release. WWE's issued 2. They came out and said that they walked out of Monday Night Raw, which I thought was very strange, because usually that's something they try to keep behind the scenes. And then they announced on SmackDown Friday that they suspended them. So I have the question for you. Do you think that this is legit, or do you think it's some kind of work?
Well, I mean, I go back to when Steve Austin left. I mean, they kind of did the same thing. They come on the air, said that he left, and I mean, they buried him. And then the next week they had The Rock come out there, and he had that "Get the F Out" promo that he cut. And I mean, as far as we know, that was all shoot. Then, and I kind of get the feeling like it's kind of the way it is now. And even reports that I've seen is Sasha's contract's up in a couple of months.
So's Naomi's.
Yeah. I mean, if AEW wants to build that women's division, those are two that, if you put Sasha on AEW right now,
she's the biggest star in that division.
She's the champ. And she holds that. I don't think there's any. I mean, Britt Baker's great, but she's not Sasha Banks. And I mean, I know they're pushing Thunder Rosa, and it's just not working. I mean, she's a great wrestler, but her promo's been a little lackluster. Yeah, and I mean, how many times have you really seen her on TV since she won the title?
I know they did the battle for the belts with her and Nyla Rose, and I think she's wrestling
Serena Deeb.
Yeah, at Double or Nothing. Well, I mean, hell, I can't believe I forgot that, because Serena Deeb just delivered a fucking fire promo on Wednesday night. So
that, I mean, she's been building. I mean, it's got me interested. I
don't think she'll win.
No, I don't either. But I mean, I understand they're trying to make Thunder Rosa a star, and I mean, she was on her way to it. It's just she kind of got belt, and she just went stagnant.
We might have to have you on the next week. We're actually doing a Double or Nothing reaction show. We're going to watch the pay-per-view, then we're going to do an episode the next night. We're kind of going to recap on our thoughts on it. So
cool.
I don't know if you're buying the event on pay-per-view. I know I am. I've already booked Sunday night. I ain't doing shit.
I'm going to find the stream. Oh, wait, did I say that?
We don't condone pirating any kind of copyrighted material here on the Couch Potato Podcast.
I mean, Tony Khan's not Dana White. He's not going to put prison.
You know, every time I see Dana White, I don't care what it is. I always think in the back of my head that load meme where it's like it's the washing machine behind him. It looks like he just. Because I know he's a fairly regular guest on Pat McAfee's show, and like the first couple of minutes he's on there, just that meme instantly comes to my head. Yeah. That's one of my go-tos also for anything that I'm super excited about. Which I sent that out earlier. They did they dropped the new Thor trailer tonight, and I sent that to a friend of mine. That exact meme, like tonight, Thor. But yeah, I think it's legit too, but like if it's a work, it's a really good one.
Yeah. And, I will say, like, some of the stuff that they've been doing recently has been pretty good.
Mm.
I mean, I'm getting, obviously, RK Bro, but what about Kevin Owens and Ezekiel? That stuff cracks me up every time I see it. And I mean, I don't watch Raw front to back. I can't do it. But
It's
I'll
too
fast
long.
forward. Yeah. I'll fast forward to the segments I want to see. I'll usually read the spoilers and then kind of go back through.
That's kind of what I do too. And if like, oh, okay, something I should probably watch, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, it could if it's a work. You do have SummerSlam coming up in July. No better way to have, Ronda and Sasha at SummerSlam.
Yeah. And have Sasha just absolutely destroy her.
I don't see. That's I don't like. They've got so much built up in Ronda Rousey. Her run, like the match that they had at WrestleMania Backlash, was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
but she, I think, would be better served to have like a Paul Heyman type character with her to do her talking for her, because it worked well for Brock Lesnar for years until Cowboy Brock came out. Fucking love that character. Love that version of Brock Lesnar.
Great.
But I think she would be better served to have somebody doing the talking for her, because her promos are fucking horrible.
Terrible. Well, I mean, when she's smiling and she's trying to be serious, that shit drives me nuts.
And she always has to call somebody a bitch too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you can be tough without swearing, like, hey, pot calling the kettle black. I use a swear word basically every other sentence, but
it happens. But still, yeah, she needs a mouthpiece, and she should have had it long before now.
Yeah. I don't know, like, her run is just the second run. Like, I know me and my son watched the Royal Rumble, and then when she came out, and I was like, fuck, she's going to win, isn't she? But she didn't need to.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I was like, oh, fuck, she's going to win. And sure enough, she did. And it just, the program with Charlotte leading up to WrestleMania just didn't click. Their match was decent at WrestleMania. The second one was much better, but I don't know, man. It's been a problem for the WWE for a long time, is they rely on, like, really homegrown talent. They've built some up, but you're bringing back, like, the people from the past to sell, like, WrestleMania and stuff instead of building up what you got now.
I know. Yeah. It doesn't make any bit of sense to me. I mean, we grew up with you didn't have unless it was Lawrence Taylor coming back or coming into, and I still say that was one of my favorite celebrity matches of all time. I just remember being 10, 11, 12 years old when that happened. And but unless it's like Brock Lesnar coming in, I mean, I just don't think people care about Ronda Rousey. Like, I mean, she's not the undefeated MMA superstar. She got her ass beat, I mean, handily twice.
I just watched the Holly Holm fight the other day.
I mean, and you bring her in, and I will say that the main event of WrestleMania 35, that build-up was awesome.
Yeah, her first run was great, but
yeah, and the match they had was good, but it was like after that, the fans turned on her, and then she was turning on the fans and calling stuff fake. And I really don't think she wants to be there, but I think Vince's wallet says I have to be there.
Right. Yeah, I think the timing of this just isn't very good because, truth be told, their women's division used to be like the standout of their programming. But
Yeah.
Charlotte's going to be out for a while. I think Becky's return has been lackluster. She's got the Stone Cold Steve Austin syndrome when they try to turn him heel. It doesn't quite work. Bianca Belair's been fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But Bayley's not there right now. They just brought Asuka back. Ronda hasn't been good, and now you're losing arguably the two of your biggest female wrestlers. And I think Naomi's just been criminally underused for a long time.
Yeah, easily.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, do you let them just walk?
I personally, I think Naomi will be back at some point. Just because
her husband.
Yeah. Is she married to Jimmy or Jay? I don't remember. I think it's Jimmy.
Whichever one's probably got the DUIs.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's the fucking bloodline. He's like, come on, Vince.
Yeah, eventually she'll be back. And I think eventually she's going to be part of that storyline.
I'm actually surprised she hasn't been already.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Come on, Vince. Get your shit together, man. Bring him back. You need him more than you think. Because honestly, nobody...
I'm not going to hate if Sasha shows up in AEW.
Oh, dude. That'd be so cool to see her at All Out.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen, but... I think when their contracts expire, it's 90 days before they can go somewhere else. So it would probably be like a Revolution type thing.
I think who was it that contract expired and then they showed up right away?
I know Malachi Black did, but he was on a NXT contract.
Yeah,
so their
days.
non-compete clauses were different than they are when you're on the main roster, and they just overlooked it.
Yeah, that was a cool surprise there.
Wasn't
expecting that.
As long as she doesn't show up on that EC3 Braun Strowman promotion.
Control your narrative?
Yeah.
God, I've seen some online stuff of that. And don't get me wrong, I know that's some people's cup of tea, but what the hell is that?
I don't know, man. I try to follow as much wrestling as I can, but yeah, I seen that, I was like, I think I'm going to skip this promotion.
What the hell are they wrestling on Permane Brothers or something?
I think they're wrestling inside the showroom at Aaron's.
Yeah, come on back to the back room at Aaron's. You got a wrestling ring back there.
in the warehouse, and then you can sign up for Aaron's credit card on the way out.
Yeah.
Actually, I think if you sign up beforehand, you get discounted tickets.
All right.
Before we wrap this up here, is there? I know you wanted to touch on some baseball real quick.
Yeah, the only thing I really have, baseball season's been kind of lackluster for me because I'm a Reds fan.
Well, usually I don't think baseball picks up till after the All-Star break anyways. There's really not a lot going on because then after the All-Star break, you've got trade deadline coming up, people making the pushes. You're starting to see the prospects get called up because teams have basically said, fuck it. We ain't going nowhere. Bring the kid up.
Yeah, the Reds kind of said that about 3 weeks before the season
started. Yeah, they threw their season in the fucking bucket before it started.
But, they have been better lately, but still. My thing, the Juan Soto, the Nationals talking about trading him. If you're Juan Soto, do you re-sign with Washington? I know they've offered him a contract. and it's probably nowhere near what he wants. But would you re-sign with the Nationals?
Not with the way they're rebuilding. I mean, they pretty much gutted their team.
Well, I mean, if you go back, 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
had Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg was healthy. They signed Patrick Corbin.
He's been a complete bust.
Yeah. Then you just let Bryce Harper walk. Then the next year you trade Max Scherzer and Trey Turner for. I mean, I know those were some of the Dodgers' top prospects, but they weren't the top prospects.
Right.
But man, I would have loved to have had Trey Turner. I mean, you're basically just giving him up for, I think it was the number 3 prospect.
Yeah, I think Josiah Gray was the centerpiece of that deal.
I mean, what? And they're wanting him to resign. And to go back, I mean, he won a title 2019. Was it 19? They beat the Astros.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. So he knows what it's like to win a title. And then now here it is, May 23rd, and your team's out of it. And you're the star on the team. And they're wanting to re-sign, wanting you to re-sign. My thing is, if they do trade him, are you just going to do the same thing you did with Trey Turner? Because, I mean, Trey Turner wasn't a slouch. I mean, he at one point was a top 5 MLB prospect.
Well, I mean, he's probably one of the 10 best players in the game right now.
Yeah, easily. And now you've got Juan Soto, who a lot of people will say is probably the best young player in the game, him or Acuna.
Or Tatis, yeah, that's usually the 3.
Yeah. And
at least those are the 3 my son would tell you are the best players in baseball.
I really wish Tatis would stay healthy, but I mean, I can't argue with those 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe include Devers from Boston.
Yeah, Devers has got a legit case. But yeah, I mean, Juan Soto is like a kid that you build the team around. And then like these guys you've gotten from like the Dodgers and, you know, these pieces you've acquired by basically gutting your team, you build around Juan Soto. And you've got Strasburg, I think, supposed to be coming back some point this year too. So
I hope so. I mean, he's fun to watch.
well, didn't he have that thoracic surgery? Yeah, pitchers don't always come back from that.
That's what kind of scares me about Hunter Green. I mean, you've got those guys that throw above 100 miles per hour, just about a third of their pitches. And I mean, there was the same kind of hype when Strasburg come up. So he throws 102 miles an hour, and he's had Tommy John, and now he's had this surgery, and then it just seems like every year he misses a significant amount of time, and kind of worries me about Hunter Green.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So if the Nationals trade him, who do you think makes a run at him?
Ooh, well, I don't think they would trade in the division because I think the Mets would be all.
Yeah, that's the first team to come to mind for me was the Mets.
Yeah, because I know what's the owner's name. He kills me. I mean, he's putting money into the team, which you don't see a lot of owners do now.
Mm.
I really think they would at least call. But
I'm sure the Mets would like, hey, what would it take?
Yeah, I think the Mets would probably be the team from the East that would, but I'm thinking maybe the Angels.
Really? That's interesting. I was kind of thinking him too because, I mean, they have a glut of young talent.
Yeah.
I mean, that you
And Joe Adele and
Walsh.
I mean, I know Adele hasn't. They kind of labeled him a superstar, really haven't allowed the guy the opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he could be part of that package. And could you imagine having Trout and Juan Soto in the same lineup?
And Ohtani.
Oh yeah, Ohtani. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, my son's going to listen to this. He goes, how dare Jason not mention Ohtani? That's my son's favorite baseball player. He loves Ohtani. But, yeah, that's kind of who I was thinking, too, those two teams. Or maybe, I don't know, like the White Sox. Well, I don't know if the White Sox, they've got, like, pretty good.
Oh, I imagine that.
I would imagine the Yankees and the Sox will call on him, too, or the Blue Jays.
That could be fun to have.
Oh,
Vlad
Jesus.
and
That's not even
Bo
fair.
And, I mean, Reds just played them in a three. And I mean, I think we held our own. But, I mean, I have the MLB package, and I'm always watching the Blue Jays games just because they're fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always have my wife's friend hook me up with the T-Mobile one.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Get the free one.
Well, just reading this fan-sided, which take it or leave it on how legit they are, they mentioned the Dodgers.
I mean, they have one of the better farm systems in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you just want to trade farm systems with the Dodgers since you seem to be trading with them all the time. I mean, I don't.
Oh, fan-sided has actually got a few teams. They've also got the Astros.
Yeah, but who would they?
Let's see. The Bleacher Report has the top 5 teams to trade for Juan Soto. They have number 1's the Dodgers. They have the Padres is number 2, which Padres seem to be in rumors for everybody.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays. Number 4, the San Francisco Giants.
Really?
And number 5, the New York Yankees. Then they also mentioned the Twins, the White Sox, the Red Sox, the Marlins, and the Rays.
I mean, if he went to Minnesota, I think it would be nothing more than a rental.
Well, if he went to any of those teams outside the top 5, he would be. There's no way that. I mean, I could maybe see the Marlins making a big splash and trading for him and then signing him to a huge contract. But realistically, though, I mean, it's not any. He's not really going to any situation any better than what he's at in Nationals now. I mean, I know the hot stove slowly. The embers are slowly starting to create a little bit of a fire there. We'll find out more in June, July.
Yeah, it'll be fun as it always is. Actually, my favorite time.
Oh yeah, dude! The baseball trade deadline is like one of my favorite days of the year because I'm locked on my phone.
I used to take the day off work and just sit and watch ESPN. Have the little baseball tonight trade deadline special.
I remember a mutual friend of ours is a giant Red Sox fan, and him and I were traveling somewhere, and I'm trying to think of who simulcast ESPN radio, but it was the trade deadline when the Red Sox traded Nomar to the Cubs, and I seen him damn near have a fucking meltdown.
Yeah, but how'd that turn out?
Turned out okay for the Red Sox.
No, I still have good memories of the '95 deadline when the I believe it was 95 when the Reds traded for Juan Guzman and David Wells. And I thought, man, we're going to the playoffs. And then we get swept by the Braves.
For those of you that don't know what Jason looks like, he would be a David Wells doppelganger.
Can live with that.
Could be worse. Could be what I hear every day. Hey, man, I think we're about out of time for this episode. Is there anything you wanted to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, sell the team, Bob. that's
Hashtag sell the team, Bob. Hashtag sell the team, Bob. 7 people listen to this program. Share the
all
hashtag.
Your tweets,
yeah.
All your Facebook posts. Sell the team, Bob.
We know he's not going to. I mean, he pretty much said that in his press conference, but.
Rotten prick.
All right, man. Well, hey, it was good talking to you. Like always, we'll have you back in a couple weeks for the AEW Double or Nothing reaction show if you want to hop on.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. Well, thank you, Jason, for filling in. I'm sure I'll be calling on you a lot more now that Lucas has joined the famous makers. Okada's the Rainmaker, Chris Jericho's the Painmaker, and now Lucas Cydrus is the Baby Maker. So, all right, gang.
New nickname.
What's that?
New nickname.
Yep, the Baby Maker. Get a T-shirt and everything made for him. Just not him actually in the act of doing that. We'll come up with something else.
Go with that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, until next Tuesday, we will talk to you later. And that will do it for today's episode of the Couch Potato Podcast. To get all the latest news in the Couch Potato universe, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on new episodes each and every Tuesday night. And if you like what you heard here today, if you would be so kind to leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you didn't like what you heard, hey, I get it. We've all wasted an hour or so of our lives we wish we could get back. Totally understandable. Just pretend like it didn't even happen. So until next Tuesday, we will catch you guys on the other side.